together. We change the world.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Theo here with a SHINRYU double Snowverflow showcase. Yes, it's still possible, Snowverflow is not dead. Salibel of the Thornberry Troop has a run of it with Terra. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. For my own showcase, I wanted to activate Snowverflow and have force time up, and that means bringing my own Kain. Since we are still in very early SHINRYU era, there really isn't much room for creativity yet when it comes to Snowverflowing. Once we have more FR weapons, we'd have more room to play around. But for now, Kain is the only new toy that we have. So let's talk a little bit about what have changed in SHINRYU and how we need to adjust our Snowverflow strategy and team building. We now have a Brave Refund and Retain limit. Refund can only give you a maximum of 80% of your HP damage limit, or max Brave cap as the game calls it, and the same limit applies to Brave Retain. What this means is we can't rely only on Snow BT to break our cap because his refund value cannot exceed 80%. The solution to this problem is Iroha's LD call. Her call has the Brave Retain that we need. So yeah, unfortunately Iroha has become a mandatory call if you intend to Snowverflow in SHINRYU. There are some exceptions to this though, like Jacked. He already has a natural 30% Brave Retain, so we might be able to get away without using Iroha call. In terms of the calls that we need, Max Brave and Gain Brave Overflow are still relevant stats, but on top of that we also need Stolen Brave Overflow. Brave Retain interacts with the actual Brave value your character is holding and not the HP damage done. And it's usually easier to push for higher Brave value from simply doing Brave hits. So notable calls for this era are Porom and Kid Sith. They have 30% overflow for both Gain and Stolen. There's an easy way to calculate how much Stolen overflow we need. There are some numbers that you need to find out first. First is your character's HP damage limit after all your BT effects are active. Then second is your character's actual max Brave value during battle. This might be a little hard to pinpoint during fight, especially if your team has consistent batteries and Brave Refund effects. Like what you're watching right now, we can temporarily see Garnet and Kain's max Brave value there during launch. That's the number that we want. But do note that this number will go down once Selphie leaves the field. During a fight, this max Brave number can be hard to pinpoint, especially if your team has consistent batteries and Brave Refund. If you are unsure, you can use 70k as your max Brave value, because outside of Synergy, max Brave tends to hover around this value, so it makes for a decent baseline if you are unsure what your character's stats is. Once you have both of these numbers, we can do a quite straightforward calculation. Yeah, for example, in this fight, Garnet's max Brave is 74551. And after setting up both Garnet and Kain BT, her HP damage limit will be 200k. So from those two numbers, we need about 169% Stolen Brave Overflow for Garnet to be able to reliably break cap. And that is assuming we are getting the full 80% refund from Snow's effect. So 169 seems like a crazy number, right? I know, but in practice it's not too bad. Garnet's own kit already has 150 Stolen Overflow for herself, and combined with Iroha's LD call, she's already at 170%. So she's good there, and that's before even counting Kain's BT bonus of 40%. So that makes Garnet sit at around 210% Stolen Brave Overflow, much more than needed. To find out how much your character's self-buff values are, please check out Thornberry Troop or the Dissidia Compendium. Anyway, I won't go too in-depth with SHINRYU Snowverflow yet. We are still very early into the era and we don't have very many characters and FRs to play around with. I'll release an updated Snowverflow guide once I have done more thorough testing with different characters. And due to current roster and FR weapon limitation, Snowverflow right now is weaker than the optimal rushdown teams, so I wouldn't really recommend Snowverflowing until much later on. And because of Iroha's very short 2-turn call duration, we can't really play a long game Snowverflow either. Back then, we can rely on the 6-turn Penelo call and make Snowverflow last really long. Now it has evolved into this kind of one-shot cannon setup, unless of course you're using a turn-hogging character like Terra or Tidus. Terra is still one of the queen of Snowverflow. I personally can't wait to get Luna Freya. She seems like an all-in-one character that can really open up team building possibilities. Anyway, a little bit of explanation around my team. I'm using a party of Snow, Garnet and Kain. Snow is replaced with Selfie early on, so we can get that Rapture debuff for extra launch damage. My Snowverflow calls are Iroha and Porom, because I did a rough calculation beforehand and determined that a single Porom was enough to Snowverflow both Garnet and Kain, even with a 5 out of 5 Ultima weapon on Garnet. But I did need to remove Garnet and Kain's blue armors for this setup. For the third call, I opted for Laguna, for that HP damage up debuff and an extra 30% max brave up from his generic buff. Seymour is a solid replacement for Laguna if you don't need the extra max brave. The early part of the fight is all about waiting for the force gauge to fill up. Since only Kain has force enhancements, the team took quite a while to build up the gauge. So I can't really feed Penelo either without sacrificing damage and setup. So I had to take the long route. The gauge is now almost full and Snow is back, so it's go time for the team. I'll leave you here for now. Enjoy the Snowverflow BT phase coming really soon. Please hit the like button if you've enjoyed the content, and if you hate it, please do let me know in the comments below how annoying Snow is as a character. And subscribe for more DFFOO content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
のみ。いや、あった。行くぞ。誇りにかけて。